Rocky Johnson passed away today. He was born August 24th, 1944, as Wayde Douglas Bowles, his birth name, and he did pass away today on January 15th, 2020. I want to send my deepest condolences to his family, to The Rock, and to the entire Johnson family. When you look at Rocky Johnson, he's obviously known for being the father of Dwayne Johnson now. That's what he's most known for. But when you look at his career, he accomplished a lot for being someone who was an African-American in the 1960s and 70s. He certainly faced a lot of discrimination, and his biggest win, certainly, of his career was when he was along with Tony Atlas. They became part of the first black tag team champions in WWF. They won the tag team titles. That was a big deal. And when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame 12 years ago, when The Rock inducted him, he was inducted along with High Chief Peter Maivia. He passed away many years ago. When they were inducted together, The Rock's father, the win with Tony Atlas becoming the first black tag team champions, that was such a big deal. I mean, they really played that there because that really meant a lot. So he was born actually in Nova Scotia in Canada. His family, I believe, survived a plantation back in the after when slavery was still legal. They went to a plantation, or they were brought there, and his ancestors escaped there. They went to Canada, and that's where he grew up. He originally wanted to be a boxer, but then he went into wrestling, and he had a run in the WWF in 1982. He lasted 3 years there. When you saw his career overall, to go back, of course, the big win with Tony Atlas was impressive. And there, getting into wrestling, he would marry Peter Maivia's daughter, High Chief Peter Maivia, Ata Maivia. Ata and Tony would get married, and they had a child who is Dwayne Johnson. He was born on May 2nd, 1972. So obviously they clearly contributed a lot to the business and to the world. Of course, with The Rock having all the success, but their families Rock's very proud of both of his families. We hear a lot about the mom side, and that's where the Samoan dynasty comes from. That comes from Roman Reigns now too. But Rock has always been someone who's been very proud of his father's side, and I think that certainly, man, you really feel bad for The Rock right now and the whole family. So when I believe they divorced in 2003. And I think he also has 2 other children. He has a son, Curtis, and a daughter, Wanda, from his first marriage. That is not with Ata Maivia, I believe. So I believe those would actually be older than The Rock. And what happened was he kind of disappeared from the mainstream circles. I haven't really heard many interviews from Rocky Johnson. The Rock would. Whenever The Rock would talk about them, he would always be very proud of them. But after the Hall of Fame, you wouldn't necessarily see too many interviews with him. And then when you hear about his death, it's surprising. I mean, he was only 75 years old. I don't know the cause of death, but he was certainly somebody who is going to be very celebrated by WWE. I'm sure they're going to give him a big tribute. And for his accomplishments in the business, they're very, very impressive. And I would like, again, to give my condolences to The Rock, to Dwayne Johnson, to his 2 sons, to Ata, his family, and rest in peace, Rocky Johnson.